This episode has been brought to you by Fornos Law Firm, devoted to optimizing your legal results at fornoslaw.com.
Welcome to PushRim Life After Injury podcast for September 16, 2012, episode 15. Special guest, Andrew Skinner. I'm Ray Pizarro.
I'm Boris El Cid.
I'm Richard Bell.
We want to welcome our audience once again for another topic of discussion here with the PushRim fellas. We have a very special guest I want to introduce to you guys, a really good friend of ours and a very active member of the spinal cord injury community, doing a lot of great work out there for the newly injured. Andrew Skinner. Welcome, Andrew.
Hey, what's up, guys?
How's it going?
Good to have you here, dude.
Finally.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Good deal. So, Andrew, we're going to just have you share your story with our members and let people know, a little bit about yourself, your injury, and things of that sort. So,
all right, where to begin?
That's right.
I got hurt almost 8 years ago. I had just graduated from college. I'd landed a good job. I had met the love of my life.
Oh.
And I was celebrating Thanksgiving up in Lake Arrowhead with my family, and it had snowed like crazy, and it was a winter wonderland. And so I was outside goofing off on the snow and snowboarding. And when I went down the hill, I fell, and even though the fall didn't appear to be hard, the landing apparently was, because I broke my 4th, 5th, and 6th cervical vertebrae in my neck and suffered a spinal cord injury and became paralyzed instantly from the neck down, and started a whole new chapter of my life.
And what year was that?
This was in 2004. And,
That's 2 years after me.
oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So, I'm coming up on my 8th, anniversary of my accident. And, it's, right after Thanksgiving and right before, Kirsten, my wife's, birthday. And so usually they kind of go by without too many speed bumps, but, it's always a date that, that has a big place in my heart.
That's right. Good word. So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so, how was, rehab, or did you have to deal with, life support or being trached or anything like that?
Well, no, I didn't get trached, but, it was certainly, major trauma to my body, and they heli-lifted me from Lake Arrowhead down to Loma Linda Hospital, where they rebuilt my neck with titanium and put a plastic prosthesis in for my 5th vertebrae. And then I did a week of rehab at Loma Linda Hospital, and then I transferred to Northridge Hospital, and I stayed there for the next 90 days.
And I assume that's where you did your therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was it up there?
It was great. I'm biased, obviously, because that's where I did my therapy at, but I'm a raving fan of their program, and I had great people there that did the OT and PT, and the nurse and staff was great, and then they had a great spinal cord injury community that kind of was there to show me the ropes as well.
Awesome.
What kind of business were you? You mentioned you had started a career. You graduated from college. What were you doing?
Well, prior to my injury, I really worked construction all through college. And so I used to swing a hammer. And then, I got a job doing sales in the entertainment industry, doing IT work. And, when I got injured, when someone first gets injured, their job becomes just pushing yourself to maximize your recovery and physical therapy and training and exercise. And so, I took 2 years off just to totally focus on rehab. And then, I started to go back to work after about 2.5 years. And, I went back to work with the family's construction company, and I couldn't swing a hammer anymore. So I like to say I moved up to management, and I started doing the, estimating and bookkeeping and some of the marketing and stuff, and came into that role.
So your training in college was?
It was business administration.
Okay, got it. So it goes in pretty well with now that you're going into the administrative part of the business, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was something that I was a little bit familiar with. I was always interested in that sort of stuff, even before I got hurt. And then, fortunately, we live in the information age. And so, I didn't, not the industrial age where I needed a strong back or whatever to be productive. And I was able to go back and, you put me in front of a computer and it's a level playing ground with anybody else. And I was able to pick that up and, help out the company. And we've been able to, catapult that business into, a real estate investment company, which is what my brother and I do now.
Awesome. Right. How old were you when you get injured?
I was 24 years old. Mm-hmm. And I was on top of the world. I thought I was invincible. And it's crazy how fast things can change.
Absolutely.
But I was lucky that I had people with me when I got hurt and that were smart enough to know that I wasn't one to cry wolf, that got help. Mm-hmm. And then I had great people around me, not only family and friends that lifted me up when I got injured and kept my head up and gave me a good kick in the butt when I needed one. But I also had a good amount of people that had gotten injured before me come in and kind of show me the ropes and give me hope.
Did you get married after your injury?
I did.
Before?
Kirsten and I had dated for about a year and a half before I got hurt. I had met her in college, and she was my partner in class, and I was able to swoon her and start dating her, and then we had just graduated together that same year, and she stayed by my side after I got hurt. And when I first got injured, I thought, I'm a quadriplegic. How can you stay with me? And I'm not use anymore. And she said, I didn't fall in love with you because you could walk. It wasn't, ooh, that guy can walk real good, I want to go with him. She said, I fell in love with you for what's in here. And she said, don't ever say that again. Beautiful. And I zipped my lips, and I've never said that again. And, if there's one thing this injury taught me, it's that you can't wait till tomorrow. And so about 2 years after I got injured, I went back to work and asked her to marry me.
Congratulations. Got any children?
I do, yeah. I'm a proud daddy.
Beautiful.
And, my daughter just turned 2 about 2 days ago, and her name is Betty, and she's just the joy of my life. And I thought all those things were impossible for me when I first got injured. I thought all those hopes and dreams were gone.
Most of us think that. I mean, it's a natural thought,
Well, along the lines of that, since our audience is basically interested in these family things that occur, was that something that you had to go through a medical type of supervision, plan, protocol in order to have a family?
Well, yes and no. We didn't have to go in and see a doctor and do the in vitro or whatever.
Right.
But it wasn't as easy as probably the normal teenage kids that have kids on accident. And so it did take some planning, but just FYI, really it happened fast. So we said, let's try it, and it happened, and there's no one ringing that bell once it does. So
basically it was, you're just naturally became a became a mother.
There's the Ferticare that's out there that we were able to use, and that that enabled me to be a daddy.
Yes.
And
now, could you expound on that? What is Ferticare for the ones that are not familiar with it?
Sure. It's it's a device that helps men T10 and up primarily. They say it has an 80% success rate. Ejaculate.
Right.
It's a male vibrator, and it works. At least it worked for me, and made my dreams of being a dad come true. And it's also not a bad thing to have around just in general too.
Absolutely. Right. Andrew, we appreciate you being so candid as to explain to us what this is. A lot of our audience perhaps are not familiar with it, and obviously sometimes are afraid to ask. So thank you so much for letting us ask you that type of question.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm an open book, and if people want more information, they're more than welcome to contact me and ask me questions and pick my brain. And people aren't reinventing the wheel. There's guys that have done it before me, and that's where I learned. And it's all about paying it forward.
Yeah, my wife says that you guys should go ahead and replicate Betty for everybody.
Yeah.
She's an awesome little child.
Yeah,
there.
she is. Lucky man. Yeah, I was going to ask you, Andrew, too. As far as, after you got hurt and the marriage stuff, when did you think about, like, okay, now that I got myself situated, I need to start making a little money and contributing to the bills and all that stuff? Because people don't know, when you get hurt, the bills still keep rolling in, and
Yeah, that's true.
Something big to think about, right?
Well, I was fortunate that, my brother, understood my situation and was willing to play around with my schedule and knew that, when I came back to work for him, that there might be days that I couldn't make it. And there was days that, I chose not to work because I had other things going on, like physical therapy, that were more important at that time. So I was fortunate that I came into a situation like that. But, as a man, I feel like, men want to contribute and, want to, be productive. And so going back to work was kind of a natural progression for me. And it's something that motivated me. And, certainly when I wanted to, ask Kirsten to marry me, I needed to have a plan on how to provide for her. And, so, I talked to my brother and I was able to go back to work and put a little bit of jingle in my pocket and, helped us, afford an apartment and, some of the cost of living.
That's right.
Now, there's another thing that you're into. Can you tell us about that?
What's that?
Your t-shirt. I'm checking out your t-shirt.
Well, I had mentioned, pay it forward earlier. And so ever since I got hurt, I always wanted to give back to other people that had suffered injuries like me. And so, in 2008, decided to start TriumphFoundation. And TriumphFoundation's mission is to help people with spinal cord injuries triumph over some of the obstacles they face. And so the cornerstone of our outreach is we give out care baskets that are full of resources to people that are newly injured. And it's kind of like a toolkit to help them rebuild their life. And, we go to, many hospitals all over, Southern California. And, we've really been able to spread our wings and make a difference and, give some guys that are newly injured some hope and, also, help them, achieve their goals and get back to living life again and try to just encourage them that this is a detour, not a roadblock.
Just want to tap my hat off to you and thank you for enlightening all these people, because you're right. You get hurt and you leave the hospital and all of a sudden you're stuck with no kind of resources and if you don't have a buddy that's in a similar situation, you're kind of at your own, trying to figure stuff out by yourself. So it's really nice. Could you tell a little bit about the baskets, what's in them and what people go home with?
Well, yeah, no one plans ahead for an injury like this because no one dreams it could happen to them. And so people are lost in the world, that they had no idea where to go or where to turn. And so, we're kind of an aggregator of information. And so we give out everything from equipment catalogs and magazines geared towards our community all the way to a list of support groups and networking groups for people in our community to information on PushRim. And the list goes on and on and on of all the good stuff that we put in there. We also top it off with some goodies that usually, make hospital life a little sweeter, a little nicer. And, just try to let them know that there's someone out there that cares and that, we're all in this together. The spinal cord injury injury community is a pretty tight knit group. It's, more like an extended family. And so, it's a club that no one wants to join, but once you're in, we got nothing but love for one another. And, it's all about, helping each person achieve, the best results they can in life and maximize their recovery and, be productive.
So Andrew, where can we get to at Triumph Foundation? Do you have a website?
Of course. It's www.triumph-foundation.org. And we also try to post some things on PushRim, and we have a Twitter account at Triumph over SEI. And then, of course, you can find us on Facebook as well.
Facebook too.
So Triumph Foundation is a 501c3 entity, which means is a nonprofit organization that survives on donation from all of you outside listening and watching. That's how you are able to spread the love to the rest of our brothers and sisters. So I like to let everybody know out there that this type of activity is not only time consuming, but it requires funding. So please log on to triumph-foundation.org and make a contribution.
Well, thank you, Boris. You're right. It's a labor of love, but on the other hand, we do have overhead costs, and the biggest hurdle to our outreach is capital. Unfortunately, there's kind of a vacuum here in Southern California with a lot of things, and we just try to meet people's needs, and then bridge some gaps for people. And we've done a lot of different things, from helping people make their homes wheelchair accessible to helping people get the equipment and supplies that they need if they have financial constraints, all the way up to doing wheelchair sports and outdoor adventure and adaptive rec stuff, which is really fun.
And that's a nice segue into my next question. So I understand that you're in some wheelchair sports.
Yeah, well, I play on the Northridge Knights quad rugby team, and Triumph tries to help out the guys and getting the equipment and stuff that they need there too. So we kind of sponsor the team. And it's a blast. It's one of the funnest games I've ever played in my life, period, let alone since I've gotten injured.
Right.
And I'd love to encourage any quads out there to come out and check out the game. Even paras, Boris, you can
Fantastic sport. I love it. I'm so jealous that I can't play it competitively.
Yeah.
But no, not to take away from it. I swear it is so much fun. Go ahead, continue.
I was going to say, we also do wheelchair sports days. We just did one a couple months ago where we had opportunity for people of all abilities to come out and check out wheelchair sports. And we had wheelchair basketball, quad rugby, wheelchair hockey, and racquetball, and a hand cycle out there for anybody to come out and check out. And so able-body, spinal cord injury, amputee, didn't matter who you were or where you came from. You can come out and participate and get enlightened to the wild world of adaptive wheelchair sports.
Yeah, I'm angry I missed it.
Now, when is your next fundraiser?
Well, we just wrapped one up literally a month ago.
Yeah.
How did that go?
And it was a great event. Everybody had fun, which was our number one goal. And then we were able to raise some funding to continue our outreach. And then, so as far as the next fundraiser, I don't have anything on deck where I can give you a specific date.
Mm-hmm.
But we would like to do, another wheelchair sports thing. We just did an adaptive shooting day where we took guys out to the shooting range about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
I'm really excited about doing maybe, a wheelchair baseball day or another wheelchair hockey day. And so I've been, talking to some people about, how we make that happen. But it's this far, I don't have a date on the calendar.
Well, next wheelchair shooting day, I'm there, dude.
Yeah, it was fun. We had over 25 shooters come out. Many of them had never shot a gun, period, or hadn't shot since they gotten hurt. And, it was good times.
Listen, all this stuff here is so busy. I mean, how do you manage Triumph making all this stuff happen? And also have a real estate investment company and be a father and a husband.
Well,
Dude,
I don't know,
we might need to award him a cape too. This would be the other man with a cape.
That's right.
Well, when God calls you to serve, He gives you a heart for it, and opportunities open up, and I've been fortunate that I've been able to make an impact and do a lot of things that for a quad, it's sometimes hard with the energy consumption and time management, but somehow been able to make it happen.
Absolutely. How many baskets do you give a year?
Christmas is our busiest time, where we give out the baskets. And so last Christmas we gave out around 75, within 2 weeks. We went to 9 different hospitals and rehab centers. And then, all throughout the year we probably matched that. So we're probably around the 200 range, give or take.
My goodness, 200. Wow. Amazing. Truly.
Yeah, that's letting a lot of people go home with something in their hand and having them to sift through and get excited and participate. Cause you don't want to go and, when you first get hurt, the last thing you want to do is go home and waste, valuable time where you could be out at least learning and sharing, right?
Yeah, exactly. We want to help them put the pieces of the puzzle back together as fast as they can. And, we've got another outreach coming up at Jude Hospital on September 21st. And, we'll have some of our ambassadors go in there and meet with some of the newly injured, people. And we're going to be kind of taking over the, spinal cord injury group that meets there regularly on Fridays. And so, I'm hoping that I can get you three out there and, some people from the audience want to come and join us. I'd love to have them connect with me and we can make that happen.
We're all for it. Just let us know when. If we're available, we're there. We'll support the cause. That, it all goes hand in hand. It's always good when you could give, without expecting nothing in return and blessings come in different ways.
Well, and I get a lot of the kudos for TriumphFoundation, but it's a lot bigger than just me. I know Ray, you've given out baskets, and Richard's been a big ambassador and mentoring for people, and it's more about the movement than the name. And, like I said, it's just all about helping out the next guy and, living life to its fullest.
You were earlier today at St. Jude's Hospital?
Yeah, I got called down, to see a young man that recently got injured, another freak accident where he just, he fell and, on some steps, and when he landed, it broke his neck. And it's just a freak thing. It doesn't have a hot dog story to tell. It doesn't,
Right.
How old?
He is in his early 20s, probably 24, 25, around the same time I got injured. And just a super nice young man. And, just wanted to encourage him, that there's hope after spinal cord injury.
That's right. So, as we get closer to wrapping it up here, you want to share with our audience, once again, the website of the day?
Yeah, I do. www.triumph-foundation.org. And Ray, can I plug some events that are coming up for our community?
Please do.
Absolutely.
All right. So next weekend, there's the San Bernardino, Abilities Expo, which is on Saturday. The first Saturday of, October is the Disabled Sports Festival, also out in San Bernardino. It's Cal State San Bernardino. It's free. It's open to anybody. They'll have wheelchair sports galore. And then the following Saturday, the second Saturday of October, is Rancho's Spinal Cord Injury Games. And so, if you guys need more information, you can email me or Google those things. But
or check out Pushroom. We'll throw them up.
That's right. We already got them. I posted
on our
Pushroom,
events.
and it's all about building a network. And I hope to see everybody there.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing. Rich, you want to let people know where they can find us also online?
Yes, we're on our YouTube channel, which is Club Pushroom. One word, Club Pushroom. Just type it in, you'll find us.
And our social network at pushrim.com.
And also iTunes. Check us out. Log in, do a search for Pushrim, and you could definitely tap into our, our podcast, our audio podcast there, and take us on the go.
Podbean, too.
That's right, and Podbean directory. So we want to thank Andrew once again for being with us and sharing his story. We'll have you back again.
Yeah, it's a privilege. Thanks.
One more thing before we go. Triumph Foundation is one of our proud sponsors from the very beginning. This podcast would not be possible without your help. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
My pleasure.
All right, guys.
All right.
We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Peace out.
Time to boogie.
No spasm.
Oh,
Stay in your chair, Boris.
don't fall out.